Good morning. I think we can start now, and probably more people will join us. I'd like to say good morning to all our UK guests and good afternoon to the Romanian guests. Welcome to today's webinar, Romania in the Spotlight. My name is Malin Janovu, and I'm the Business Development Manager for International Trade at the Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce. Our chamber is the accredited Chamber of Commerce for Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, Oxfordshire, Swindon, and Heathrow, and we are offering a wide portfolio of services to members and customers. Before I hand over to our presenters today, I would like to inform you that this webinar is recorded, and the recording of this session will be made available on our website, thamesvalleychamber.co.uk. If you wish to raise any questions about our topic today, please do so by using the Q&A facility, and we will endeavor to cover some during the session. Otherwise, we will come back to you at a later date. So please feel free to ask us any questions, and our experts. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end of the presentations. After a successful launch of Romania Desk, Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce is delighted to present the first event focusing on Romania as trade partner for United Kingdom companies. The main purpose of this webinar is to present an economic overview on Romania market and to uncover the business opportunities for the UK companies. We have a lot to cover this morning, so without further additions, I will pass you over our first speaker today, which is Christina Coquitla. She is the head of marketing foreign investment at Invest Romania, which is the country one-stop shop for foreign investors. As head of the promotion department within Invest Romania for over 7 years and head of the organization for 2 years tenure, Christina has facilitated a €7 billion investment project portfolio. Holding extensive expertise in international diplomacy and business development, Christina also managed the organization's relations and operations for bringing new investment projects to Romania, covering foreign entities, managing B2B, B2G, matchmaking operations, task forces, and power meetings with international companies and relevant actors. Christina, please, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So I understand the time is not on my side, so I'm going to be very brief. Okay. Okay, then I'll just let the presentation take its course, and I will close camera. Thank you. So Romania stands as one of the best performing countries in terms of GDP growth for last year, and one of the leading FDI recipients in the region, with almost euro 240 billion in stock and 7.3 billion in FDI flows for last year. Our country, as you can see, is a pillar of strength in the region, as we have enjoyed NATO membership since 2004. Since 2007, we have enjoyed EU membership, and in 2019, we took over the presidency of the Council of the European Union. Next slide, please. Romania stands as a country that performs as it enjoys a steady economic growth and FDI flows, as well as a competitive fiscal regime, but I will develop on that later on. Next, please. In terms of potential for growth in 2020, as it was facing the pandemic, Romania registered a 3.7-fold down in the GDP, like everyone else around us. The EU has been facing the biggest economic down over the past 25 years. So we went on a positive, so after that steep fall, we went on a positive trend again last year. And for this year, we will have a mild slowdown, 4.3%, but we will gain impetus again for the next year, as it is forecasted, 5.1. Next, please. In terms of inflation and employment, the forecasted inflation is below the EU average, which is 6.2, maybe 5. The increase was triggered by the surge in energy and gas prices that have generated snowball effect in the economy, but affected actually all sectors within the economy. Another factor impacting the inflation is obviously the geostrategic and geopolitical context. In terms of unemployment, last year we had a 5.3 unemployment rate. Well, it's far below the average, the EU average, which is 7.5. But you must keep in mind that this is just an average, as there is a fair share of people that do not register with the local unemployment agency, so talent pool availability is mildly higher. There are certain regions within the country, the northern part of the country, the northeastern part of the country, where the unemployment rate is around 10%, but others like Bucharest or the western part of the country, where it's 1 or 2%. But at the same time, Romania enjoys the dual learning system, which allows students to get theoretical training and later on apply what they've learned during those paid apprenticeships at companies enrolled in this project. Afterwards, they will work for the very company, and thus the gap between the market needs and available curricula is to be narrowed steadily. I just give it 2 examples. It's Daimler and Bosch. Those are the companies that have successfully implemented that. Next, please. In terms of minimum wage in EU, Romania has the 3rd lowest minimum monthly wage in EU. We have a highly skilled workforce at competitive prices. Our labor force is multilingual, innovative, future-oriented, with reduced language and cultural barriers. Next, please. In terms of FDI, we are one of the leading FDI recipients in the region. And from our expertise as a one-stop shop for foreign investors, I can only tell you that shrewd investors at this very moment are putting to good use our competitive advantages, and we are at the point where it's worth investing. Our economy is steady. We have a friendly business environment and a sound fiscal policy. Next. I'm not going to spend much time here. Is the FDI stock by field of activity? It was primarily channeled towards manufacturing. Out of that, it's worth mentioning the transport equipment, followed by oil processing, chemical, rubber, plastic products, and then metallurgy. But next, please. In terms of talent pool, we have here the top 5 university centers in the country, including Bucharest. And in the last academic year, we had 89 universities and 341 faculties. Next. Here we have the talent pool. The highest percentage here goes to post-secondary schools, followed by vocational schools and foreign schools. Next. Speaking of, I previously talked about the multilingual Romanians being multilingual with reduced cultural and language barriers. So I must mention that 99 of the Romanian high school students learn at least 2 foreign languages, whilst 90% of the students are proficient in English. 26 speak French. We're a francophone country. 17% Spanish, we're part of the Latin family languages. 8% speak German. The western part of Romania was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and 5% again the Latin family. Next. In terms of center of excellences, I'm just going to give you 2 examples. It's Romania Romania. It's the 2nd largest Renault R&D center in the world and the largest outside France, with approximately 3,000 Romanian engineers covering just about 20% of the company's global R&D operations. And Daimler is producing at Sebeș the 9G Tronic gearbox and the 8G double clutch transmission. This is at Sebeș. This is the first and only location in the Mercedes car powertrain production network that produces the new dual stage transmission. The Star Transmission Daimler is one of the first companies in Romania to offer the dual education system. It's based on the Baden-Württemberg model. Next. In terms, we have a very competitive market. We are the largest market in CEE with competitive operational costs, 9th lowest natural gas and 7th lowest electricity prices. We rank 2nd in terms of hourly labor costs. And according to the World Bank Ease of Doing Business, we rank we are ranking 55th ahead of countries like, I don't know, Italy, Luxembourg, Greece, Malta, or Malta, or some of our regional peers like Bulgaria. Next. In terms of value for money, you can have in Bucharest, for example, for 100 euros, it takes almost 50% more in Berlin or London. As far as the standard of living is concerned, almost 2,000 euros in wages in Bucharest will account for almost double in Berlin and almost 3 times in London. Next. Next. The Romanian tax system, we have the standard VAT 90%, some exception 9% and 5%. We have 0 income tax for R&D and IT employees. As far as R&D is concerned, we have an additional deduction of 50% of the eligible expenses for their activities. And of course, we have 0 tax for employers as well here. Next. The Romanian, the comparative tax in EU. We're on the 7th place in EU with 16% corporate tax rate. On the 3rd with the VIT, and we have the lowest dividend tax, but you must keep in mind that we didn't mention here this country that have 0% withholding tax like Malta, Cyprus, Estonia, Latvia, or Hungary. Next. In terms of state aid, we offer state aid support for supporting companies that are creating more than 100 new jobs or those exceeding 1 million euros. The eligible costs, you have them all here, include the construction of new buildings, renting costs for construction related to the initial investment, CAPEX, aimed at technical installation and tools, acquisition of intellectual property. Next, please. We have some examples of supported investment. You have them all here. But it's important to know that we have certain fiscal incentives. Investors that set up production units or offices in an industrial, scientific or technological park can benefit from exemption on land building and urban tax planning, or exemption on taxes charged for changing the land destination. We have here some of the most prominent companies that have received state aid. But please, next. We have here the state aid intensity is 60% for the eastern, northeastern, and southern parts of the country, 50% for small chunks of the northern and southern part of the country, and 30 and 40% for the central and western part of the country. Now, connectivity. Next, please. Romania is well connected, boasting a transport network of 16 international airports and major ports, with Constanța, which enjoys the most modern container terminal developed by DP World. Of course, it's the deepest and largest port at the Black Sea. We're just actually a flight away to some of the world's leading leisure and business destinations, or we're not financial capitals. Next. We have 103 industrial parks spread across the country. Those who intend to implement their projects here have access to utilities and benefit packages according to their focus. They can also benefit from exemption on land building and urban tax planning taxes. Sorry. Next. In terms of agriculture, there are many opportunities, starting with the digitalization of the agriculture sector, irrigation infrastructure, drainage and soil evolution, collecting storage systems, or the organic farming segment. We are the EU's largest grain exporter, 1 million tons of cereals just for last year. And in 2020, the crop production was 64.9% of the agricultural production value. Next. In terms of renewable energy, we have it all: bioenergy, solar, wind, hydropower, hydrogen, nuclear. There are certain projects that are benefits from government support. The setting up of offshore wind parks of 300 megawatts, power plants, combined cycle glass turbine, photovoltaic parks of 700 megawatts, or smart grids and digitalization of electrical transport network. And we will include in our national system for energy production the small modular reactors. The deadline is 2028, and that will definitely strengthen the partnership we have with the US in the civil nuclear field. Next. In terms of ITNC, we have here the largest hubs and the largest companies in Romania. I won't slip on that. The workforce, and as time is not by my side, I'd like to, next slide, please. We have the largest IT companies in Romania, but just next. Some key facts about our top sectors. And this is worth mentioning that the automotive industry and as far as the automotive industry and ITNC are concerned, we're providing the sub-regional hubs. The industry size, you have here the automotive industry, the industry size, 26.5 billion. We have some of the biggest players in the field operating in Romania. We have two of the biggest car producers, Renault and Ford, and some of the leading names, yes. And the automotive accounts for 14% of the GDP and 26% of the national export. In terms of ITNC, you have here the industry size, and some of the biggest names here: Ericsson, IBM, Oracle, Amazon, and its contribution to the GDP is 5.2%. In terms of as the aerospace is concerned, it has a great potential here, and we have some of the biggest players in the world here: Premium Aerotech, Sonaca, Airbus Helicopters, and Universal Alloy Corporation. Next. Some of the largest companies. Again, I won't stay on that. This is us, Invest Romania, the one-stop shop for foreign investors, assisting and advising international companies. We are accompanying the investor during all stages of the decisional process, including the aftercare services. We do sightseeing, matchmaking, investors' needs with the best, most suitable locations, and we have an open door policy. Your success is our success too. So all you have to do as investors is knock at our door at Invest Romania and let us do the job for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. It was very interesting. I learned a lot. For all the people attending, if you would like to speak with Christina and her team, please let us know and we can put you in contact with her. So thank you very much, Christina. I would like to introduce you now to the next is Bogdan Mihailescu. Bogdan Mihailescu is a Minister Counselor at Romanian Embassy in the United Kingdom. He is a diplomat, Minister Counselor of Commercial and Economic Affairs within the Embassy of Romania to the United Kingdom, a position he has held since April 2020. In this role, he deals with the development of trade relations between the two countries, the support of Romanian companies in expanding their business on the United Kingdom market, as well as the channeling of British investments in Romania. Previously, he was the personal advisor to the Minister of Business Environment, Trade and Entrepreneurship, having been delegated to coordinate the public financing programs for SMEs, and he was involved in Invest Romania. Mr. Mihailescu has a vast experience in private sector and entrepreneurship too, having held top management positions in large companies such as Oracle Romania and SAP Romania from 1996 to 2007, as well as working as a business entrepreneur for more than 10 years in the IT and C sector. So welcome, Bogdan, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Malin. I would appreciate if you change the slides because I guess this is not mine. Yes, thank you very much. The good thing about having a small audience like we have today is that you who are attending the workshop now, you're going to get the best opportunities. You'll find it out now. the most difficult thing for you or challenging is to spread the word to your partners, colleagues, and so on for the opportunities you are not interested in. So whoever attends this event today has two very challenging tasks. Saying that, I want to jump to my presentation. I want to welcome all of you. And coming to our bilateral trade relationships, Romania and the UK, we had last year a little bit more than 3 billion euro trade volumes, which is not the best we had. The peak of our trade was in 2019 when we reached nearly 5 billion. We have pretty good exports to the UK, 2.15 billion euros, which makes Romania having a positive trade balance with the UK, about 1 billion euros. But what you see here, it's a very small part of the potential we have in related to trade, but this is something you'll see further in my presentation. So please, next slide. The main categories of traded goods, and you see it's quite balanced. We export mostly electrical equipment. Romania is a hub for household appliances and different sorts of parts or engines or air conditioning. So that's the reason why we have such a big volume of exports in electrical equipment. But we also export a lot of vehicles, aircraft and transport equipment. Clothing, Romania is one of the strongest players in Europe in production of clothing and textiles. Food, beverage and tobacco, plastic, rubbers and related articles, and furniture. What we do import from the UK, it's again electrical equipment, vehicles, aircraft and transport equipment, and so on. You can see everything here. Next slide, please. What is even more interesting is what are the main categories of goods you are exporting. This is relevant for companies looking to find some trading partners in Romania, particularly for importing goods for Romania. We are a huge manufacturer of cars and parts for vehicles. Therefore, the main two categories of products we are exporting are related to this automotive industry, but we also export wires, cables, panels, tires. We have some of the largest tires plants in Europe. Maize and wheat, because Romania, as my colleague mentioned, it's one of the top producers of cereals in EU. We also export petroleum, convertible chairs, and different iron and steel products. Next slide, please. If we look at the main category of imported goods, apart from accessories of vehicles, we are importing a lot of drugs, which it's another great opportunity for business, because UK it's one of the largest producers of drugs in the world. We import cars as well, wires, integrated circuits, and surprisingly human blood and prepared animal blood for use in therapies. So these are the top 10 products we are importing in Romania. Next slide. I don't want to spend more time on that because my colleague already showed this slide. What I wanted to emphasize is that we are expecting some very important GDP growth in the following years. Based on the National Committee of Strategy and Prognosis from Romania, we expect to reach 5.3 growth of GDP in 2023, which places Romania on a top position inside EU in terms of forecast for GDP growth. Next slide. I want to highlight some of the opportunities which arise from what we call the National Plan for Recovery and Resilience. This is a huge investment plan. Every single EU country has such a plan, which is adapted to their particularities. For Romania, we have a plan which includes investments about 30 billion euros. and you see the domains where the investments are being made. Why am I presenting this to you? Because all these investments represent tremendous opportunities for trade. Particularly if we look at technology, Romania is very interested to support these projects by looking for technology, for consultancy, because most of these projects, include these components. Is not just labor, but a lot of investment, a lot of technology transfer. And once again, I want to mention these are not necessarily huge projects, because I had some discussions with some other partners in the past, and they said, okay, these are huge investments, may not be appropriate for SMEs. It's something which big companies are interested in. No, some of these projects are big indeed, and means you need to be quite big to address them, but many of these budgets include smaller projects which are affordable, which can be approached by any size of company. And it's a matter of finding right partners in Romania and approach such projects. I will go through some of these investment domains just to highlight the areas where these projects will be developed, which equally represents opportunities for exports. In water management, for instance, I don't want to go through all of this because I will need more time, but this is a challenge because we plan to have some dedicated workshops, which we call clinics. I think Malin will mention them at the end of the presentation. So we can go in detail in any of these domains or on any topic for any company interested, and see more concrete what these opportunities means. So water management, you see some examples of projects that it will be run. Next slide. Waste management. No, it's fine. Waste management means a lot of investment in integrated municipal waste management systems, which means green islands, solutions for separate collection of garbage like textiles, batteries, and so on, construction, demolition waste. So all this means technologies, means products which represent opportunities for export. Next slide. Sustainable transport means acquisition of sustainable rolling stock, modernization of existing rolling stock, development of road infrastructure, charging and control systems, and so on, which also includes some IT solutions, not just products. Next slide. The energy, which means huge investments in new capacity for renewable energy like wind or solar, but also gas distribution infrastructure, construction of a new electrolyzer to produce hydrogen, green hydrogen. Again, we are looking for partners, technologies, companies to deliver not only the solutions, but also the components, the products, and the knowledge. Next slide. In terms of digital transformation, it's another domain, huge opportunity for software companies or IT companies. You can see a list of some of the main projects which will be developed part of this national plan. I don't want to go through all of this, but it's just an example of how we're going to spend money and which areas we're going to invest. Next slide. Another interesting domain is the support for private sector. There will be some aid schemes to stimulate adoption of digital technologies and investment in digitization. €500 million, it's a significant amount. So most of the SMEs in Romania will be eligible to apply for these aid schemes and get grants from the government to invest in these technologies. Cybersecurity, I know it's a strong domain in the UK too, but not only. These are mainly opportunities for companies acting in IT field. Next slide, please. Local fund means purchases of clean vehicles like trams, battery-powered trolley buses, clean buses. The municipalities will access these funds for renewing basically their fleet of transport vehicles, but also means investments in different solutions related to intelligent transport systems like e-ticketing, traffic control, taxation, and so on. Drones, automation. Nearly 500 municipalities in Romania will be able to develop such projects, and they can access a fund which is 275 million euros. Also, charging station for electric vehicles. There will be 13,200 charging stations minimum to be developed, and we are looking just at this national plan, but there will be other funds available for municipalities to develop this network of charging stations. And once again, I know UK is very strong in that, and it's quite advanced. It's not just about the station itself, but the whole management systems, the whole solutions behind the stations. Next slide. Health. More than 2 billion euros available for pre-hospital medical infrastructure, but also public hospital infrastructure, which includes construction of new hospitals, but equally investment in equipments, technology, medical equipment, and so on. So another big opportunity for suppliers in this field. Next slide. If we look at some industries, some strong industries Romania has, I just want to highlight a few of them because we will not have too much time to spend for many. But I want to highlight the automotive industry, which is by far the largest industry and the main contributor to the GDP, 14%, and counts for 26% of total exports of Romania. We have two car manufacturers, Dacia and Ford. You probably see many models, not many, but few models of Dacia, which is very popular in the UK. So we have Dacia Duster, which is a small SUV. You can see it nearly everywhere on the UK roads, but also Ford, who is producing entirely Ford Puma, for instance, in Romania, which is a hybrid vehicle. But also many tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers, which are active in Romania, like Bosch, Continental, Daimler. In total, there are more than 600 OEMs producing components in Romania. What are the trade opportunities? I see big opportunities in electric and electronic systems, tires, car seats, where for instance, Romania is very strong, but it's also interested in importing. As you noticed at the beginning of my presentation, products from this domain are on the top list of imports in Romania. So these represent a wide range of opportunities for tier 1 to 3 British suppliers. Equally components for electric vehicle cars, because Romania represents right now an incipient market, which means big opportunities. Equally hydrogen vehicles, I mean mostly buses and trucks. Next slide. Agriculture, I just want to present you a different perspective of what my colleague presented. Romania is a significant player in the EU. We were the first producer of maize in EU last year, and we remain the largest grain exporter in the EU. As you can see, we exported nearly 4 million tons of wheat. And 2.6 million tons of corn, which is for agriculture fiscal year 2021, which is not ended yet. It will be ended at June 2022. But apart from cereals, we are a very big wine producer, more than 5 million hectoliters produced yearly. I think we are the 11th or 12th largest wine producer in the world. And this is something worth exploring because Romanian wine is really good and UK is a big importer of wine. And the opportunity is even higher because Romanian wine is not very well known here which is a pity. It's an opportunity for any importer to explore this new range of wines, because I know that the British consumers are very interested in new things. Not to forget about honey, when we are one of the largest European producer, actually the fourth largest producer. For agriculture, import opportunities in the UK, as I mentioned, processed agricultural products, it's a good idea to talk to Romanian producer, or equally to invest in Romania and produce. We do have a strong market for organic products, wild flora products, berries and mushrooms, which are really high value products, not very well exploited on the UK market. In terms of export opportunities to Romania, we are still at the beginning of investments in a new irrigation infrastructure, drainage, and solutions for soil erosion, agricultural machinery, fertilizers and pesticides, or solutions in area of low carbon emissions, agri-tech. Next slide. Energy, I don't want to spend too much time. My colleague already talked about that. I just want to show you that today, Romania has a capacity, and we theoretically can produce up to 60% of energy from renewables, but we equally have huge plans to increase the production. As you can see, solar up to 5 gigawatts by 2030, and wind up to 5.3, which is more than double the total capacity production. And therefore, big opportunity for UK exporters, for instance, for offshore wind park solutions, smart grids, and digitalization of electrical transport network, where UK is quite advanced, EV charger networks that I mentioned, or even photovoltaic parks. Particularly, this might be interesting for investors. Next slide. I have two more slides. One is about furniture. Romania is a strong competitor in this area, 1 billion euro domestic market, but 2.2 billion exports. Nearly 90% of the furniture we are producing in Romania goes to export. Main destinations, Germany, France, but also UK, 5.3%. We have a lot of products, wood products, mainly pine oak, for commercial use, home furniture, sofas and mattresses. You can find our products, Romanian products, in Argos, but if you go in WeWork, most of the furniture there comes from Romania. IKEA is producing a lot in Romania. Wagamama chairs and tables comes from Romania, but you can find this furniture in many houses. Therefore, it's worth exploring what Romania can offer. The manufacturers in Romania are very skilled, and the costs are really competitive. So it's a big opportunity, particularly not necessarily for big volumes, but also for the customization options you can get for the furniture, short lead times, which makes this very relevant, because it's an industry where the lead times are sometimes really big. Next slide. Textile and clothing. Romania is one of the biggest players in the EU. It's a big market, 3.7 billion, counts for 7% of total exports. You can see the figures there. What it's interesting, because maybe not too many people know that in Romania, many luxury brands are being produced. You can see the names there, but also high street brands or just regular brands. The opportunities are once again big. I'm receiving a lot of requests from UK brands and companies to find partners in Romania, because we do have high quality products in this area and very good prices. Not to forget about medical textiles, gowns, diapers, which is a growing market in Romania as well, and a big opportunity for trade, particularly today when this is getting more relevant. Next slide. So that was my presentation. I'm sorry, I think I was a little bit long, but it's just a small part of the information we can provide. However, I'm looking forward for the clinics when we can go into detail and even have one-to-one sessions for any of you interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bogdan. It was very, very interesting. I learned a lot of things. And yes, we will have the clinic starting from 6th of June. I'll remind about it at the end of the presentations. Thank you very much, Bogdan. I would like now to introduce you to Ana Maria Paraskev. She is the partner for France and India Wise Finance Solutions with over 16 years of experience as an international trade consultant for foreign companies. 8 of this years, she was working for CIC French Bank in Bucharest. She helped and advised companies, investors to expand their businesses in Romania and Bulgaria. She is a promoter and expert in circular economy since 2019. She's a climate enthusiast and activist. I wanted to say that. Anna will explain to us a bit more about the logistics and supply chain in Romania. So hello, Anna.
Hello, thank you, Malvin, for your kind introduction. It's quite I'm a climate activist.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I will have a short presentation because our colleagues already talk about many good information here. So we can go straight to the logistic market. So the logistic market in Romania, it's extremely dynamic. It's already 5.3 million square meters, and will be at the end of this decade will exceed the threshold of 6 million square meters. Next slide. The top investor in Romania in this sector are the Austrian, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. And you can see the Austria is 37% from the market, following by the Czech Republic 18%, and Hungary is 60%. We will have also Romanian on this sector, the demand that is very known from materials. Okay, next slide, please. The industrial parks in Romania, like my colleague said, we have more than 103. They are almost across all Romania under both private and public, especially in aerospace, IT, and all kind of industry. Around 60% of industrial space delivery in 2020 was in Bucharest, which remains Romania's largest industrial hub, while the other 35% was split among regional cities, especially in the west part of Romania, where we have a lot of automotive companies like Deva, Oradea, and also in the center, Sibiu and others. I have here a little bit about, yes, I want to say that the leader on the market is the Czech one, the City Park, that here I can see the top 5 space delivery in 2021, 160,000 square meters for logistic. So City Park in Bucharest, like I said, Bucharest is really the most attractive for this part of logistic, followed by Vigip Timișoara in west and northwest, and the south larger logistic with 23,000 square meters. City Park again in Bucharest with 20,000 square meters, and City Park again in the south of Romania with 15,000 square meters. Next, please. Industrial production market, like also my colleagues say, we are ranking the 4th place in EU population active in automotive industry with more than 230,000 people, representing 2.7% of the active population. The second in production automotive with our Dacia and Ford, and hope we come many others. And 4th place in education. We have a lot of Romanian speak a lot of language, like me, I'm a French speaker, so that's why my accent, it's a little bit bizarre. The second lowest labor cost in EU. So the average hourly labor cost in Romania, it's 8.5 euro per hour. Next. So industrial production market, here it's a map where you can see the developed areas with and areas underdeveloped, a strong growth potential. How you can see in the west and in the west part of Romania, we have Continental, Hela, and we have in the center also in the north part center, Michelin, and also around Bucharest, and in the south we have Dacia, Renault, and Ford. A lot of automotive investor here. Also Austrian, Eger in the north part. So this is an idea which are the company where located by region. Next slide, please. And here we talk about the top landlords in Romania. Like I told before, we have a threshold 5.63 million square meters. The CTP, the Czech one, has 36% from the market. VDP has 21%, and 70% is all other countries. So again, Czech are the leaders in this sector. Thank you. Next. Investment sector in this area, like I said, in 2021 was investing a lot in consumer goods and retail trade in general. And this year, the logistics sector accounts for almost 40% of total leasing transaction. The e-commerce segment is constantly growing and become one of the important components for demand for industrial space. According to consulting and real estate, this dynamic can reach up to 10 million square meters at the end of this decade. And now, right now, we have under construction 730,000 square meters and will be delivered by the end of the next year. Next second. Here we have a map with ongoing industrial and logistic projects. The total investment until March is 6 billion lei. So from January until March, more than 900 projects were registering the progress at national level. Most of them are under authorization, and half of them are storage spaces. Like I said, the west part of Romania is very attractive, and we have the Bihor country in the north with the blue, and we have 81 projects, followed by Ilfov around the capital, Bucharest, 8 projects. And next one. This is a distribution of this surface by counties. In March, we noticed an increased interest in storage space, and more than half of this investment are in production facilities, around 300 investment, recycling workshop, 100 investment, biotechnology, 105 investment. A total, it's 484 projects on national level. And we have also 89 projects in car washes. Next, please. Here, a little bit why now Romania is becoming the most important logistic and geostrategic hub in Europe. You know about the geopolitical strategy. He is located at the intersection of geoeconomic axes, West and East, and also Southeast Asia and Middle East. The second largest country after Poland in EU, and of course the Port Constanța. This is the largest port on Black Sea, the second largest by superficie Rotterdam, and the fourth largest in Europe. And now is becoming the most crucial hub due to the war in Ukraine. And yesterday, I think I wrote in the press that 80,000 tons of grain arrive in Romania for delivering in other countries. And we have also the three main pan-European transport corridors, the fourth one from Berlin to Istanbul, the seventh one, transcontinental waterway that is connecting Black Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, the ninth one that is from Helsinki to Plovdiv. Next one. So here again, we have 942 kilometers motorways and over 400 kilometers different stage of development. We have 4 active cargo airports, Timișoara, Cluj, Napoca, Arad, so again West, Center, and Bucharest. And we are ranking again 70 largest UR rail volume for a height of 10,620 kilometers of functional railway. Here, over 2 billion euro, it's undergoing projects financed by EU funds, World Bank, and European Investment Bank. Next slide, please. Taxation, wages, salary, taxation already, my colleague talked about a little bit about the salary. I want to talk already taxation. We talked my colleague. Hourly labor cost in Romania, the average hourly labor cost it's 8.5 euro per hour. The lowest one is in Bulgaria, 7 euro per hour, and the highest one is in Denmark, 46.9 euro per hour. Next one. Average and minimum salary in Romania in 2022. So the average gross salary is 1,224 euros, and a net it's 751 euros. The minimum gross salary is around 510 euros, and the employees receive a net salary of 305 euros net. So over the past 12 months, the highest wage increases in sectors like tobacco with 30%, pharmaceutical with plus 10.6%, audio video with 10%, and real estate with 7%. The other sectors that are dropping average salary are the mining sector, telecommunication, transport, and of course, energy. Next slide. State aid in Romania, that already my colleagues talked, but we are specialized on this, it's our specialty. So everyone that wants to invest in Romania, there is the state aid scheme by GDA 807/214. So here you have the idea which region you can access to total investment. So north part and south part are the highest, 60% from the total investment. And Bucharest, it's around 35% from the total investment. So you can reach around 45 million euros. Next slide. So for what this state grant is granted: for construction of new buildings, for purchase of new technical installation, machinery, for renting, and patents, license, and other intellectual property rights. Next slide. About Y Financial Solutions, we are in the market from 12 years of experience. We are present in Romania, also in Japan from the last year. We will open soon in Turkey and probably in another European countries. Project's value is around 1 billion euro, and the rate of success is 100%. Our clients and partners, like I said, most of them are from Turkey, like Makita, Japan, Yazaki, Turkey, and also we have logistic clients, CTP and P3 logistic parts. Next one. So yeah, most of them are foreigners companies. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you very much for the information. Now we're gonna go to a Q&A session, and I would like to introduce a new speaker for Chris Fran. He is the head of economic diplomacy at the British Embassy in Bucharest, working closely with the IT team and political team to help the British companies and to create and support an even stronger economical connection between the United Kingdom and Romania. So Chris is with us to answer your question. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A and I'll ask the participants. I would like to start. Chris, are you with us? First of all, just want to make sure that Chris can hear us.
Yep. Hello, Malin. I'm here. If you can hear me, I'm on Zoom.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. Chris.
I'll go on to mute till I need to come back in. Okay.
Yeah, that's
right?
correct. Thank you very much, Chris. I've received a question that I find quite interesting, and it sounds like this. Since United Kingdom left the European Union single trade market, how is Romania of more significant interest to the United Kingdom now compared to any of other remaining 27 EU member states? Christina, can I ask you to tell us your opinion from an investment perspective? And also I would like after that, Bogdan, to tell us from a different perspective, the same, an answer to the same question. You are on mute, Christina. Yeah, that's perfect.
Well, from our point of view, we are still, as members of the EU market, we have the same benefits that actually the UK had some time ago. But we have a sound fiscal policy. We are a stable country, and this is very important because we are a pillar of strength in the region. In terms of macroeconomic performance, we are still performing well. We're on a positive trend on many aspects. So investors are very interested in that. And we have now, with this coalition, a fair share, let me put it that way, of predictability, which puts us on a better position since a few, let's say, months ago. From an investor's perspective, I'm right now presenting the investor's perspective and the way they perceive Romania. So I don't know if our image abroad or our
you are on mute again. Sorry, something happened.
I don't know what was the point where I went mute again.
It was about the last few months in the perspective of other of the people about Romania. How?
Yes, perspective Romania. Well, it has significantly improved since a few months ago, because you have some predictability and stability, which is very important to investors. Not to the extension they would really desire it, but yet it is a fact that we are dealing with, and it is a very good one for the country offer. At the same time, the proximity of war, well, that is not an element that is good for the country offer. But from a perspective of investors, we are on a positive trend on many aspects. So the projects are pouring in at Invest Romania, and that is a very good thing. So we are against our regional peers. We have a good macroeconomic regime, macroeconomic performance. Sorry, we have a good fiscal regime and good operational costs. The market potential is significant. So these are just a few of our strong points at this point.
Thank you very much, Christina. Bogdan, can I ask you the same question now that you are here in United Kingdom and you understand the needs of United Kingdom companies? Can you tell us how is Romania of more significant interest for the UK companies now, today, after the Brexit? And
absolutely. How much time do I have? Because I can talk about it for hours.
Let's see, 30 seconds, 1 minute.
Okay, so I would say there are many arguments. If we look at the economic part, Romania has few strong advantages. I would say, first of all, the state aid, which is, I guess, the highest intensity across the whole EU, goes up to 60%. So whenever an investment is made in Romania, it can get up to 60% as a grant from the state. Then there is the advantage for logistic companies, because UK, it's a big trading nation, so there are a lot of companies involved in high logistics. And if you look at the EU market, Romania, it's, I would say, strategically positioned far east. It's the gateway to the EU from the east, opposed to, for instance, Rotterdam and Netherlands, which is one of the strongest, largest gateways from the west. So if you trade with Asia, particularly, or if you bring goods from that part of the world to the EU, the best place to have your logistic operations is Romania, because we have a port which is becomes the main port of the Black Sea. It's 6 days closer to China, for instance, compared to Rotterdam port. We have a very good infrastructure, and there are a lot of investments to increase the capacity of the port and transport from Constanța to west of the country and then to the rest of the EU. You can reach by road nearly every EU country in less than 24 hours. So logistically speaking, Romania has, I would say, the best advantage compared to any other EU country, not to mention the costs. There are warehouses to be rented as low as €2 per square meter, which is really something unbeatable. And there are many other economic arguments, but not only. Romania, it's a very, very proficient country in speaking English language, but not only, as my colleagues mentioned, it's Hungarian, it's German, it's French, Italian. So you hardly find a country in the EU which is so multilingual like Romania is. But once again, I emphasize on English, which is very good. It's a very well and well-spoken language in Romania, which is one of the reasons why many business centers and business support centers has been developed in Romania. If we look at the social aspects and lifestyle, Romania, it's a very nice country to live, and I'm happy Chris is here. I'm sure he can confirm what I'm saying. It's a good social life. Romanians are very friendly. It's a warm country. It's a very nice country as well. So you can have a lot of resorts to go. You can have nice restaurants. You can have amazing clubs on the Black Sea coast. I would say some of the best in Europe. I strongly recommend anyone to try a club in Mamaia rather than Ibiza. They will be surprised. So I stop here with my arguments because, once again, there are so many, but I'm happy to talk about that anytime, even after the presentation.
Thank you very much, Bogdan. Thank you.
And I forgot about the wine, sorry.
Yes, you are saying about wine. We have here an official distributor in the beverage businesses, and I'll put together his question with some other multiple questions that are received. How United Kingdom companies can find suppliers and distributors in Romania. Can I ask Chris too, if he can give us an idea, how is the easiest way for the UK companies to find suppliers in Romania or distributors? From your perspective as working for the embassy in Bucharest.
Yep. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, I can't see myself on video. I don't know if you can see me or not, but it doesn't matter.
We can see you. Yes.
Can you? Okay, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, well, here in the embassy, we've got, oh, there I am. We've got a whole team from the Department of International Trade, whose job it is to help UK firms export. So if that's the angle you're coming from, you just need to get in touch with us here. They will help people set up calls or establish contacts with chambers of commerce, people like that. If you want to actually come out here on a visit and see people, meet up with local associations or contacts we have within the British business community, that's the sort of thing we're here to do. We're here to arrange. We also have a number of high-level visits, and whenever those happen, we try to arrange for those ministers such like to meet local contacts. My job my section is called the economic diplomacy section, which is what you call prosperity, if you like. So anything that's involving helping prosperity for British firms in Romania, that's where I get involved with things. So I do a bit of work on the political side and a bit of work on the trade side, but I don't lead on either as such. I mean, for example, what we're doing at the moment, we've got a group from the UK Parliament coming out fairly soon, and we'll be setting them up with some calls to meet local British businesses who are active here. You've heard of some of the companies mentioned earlier, but I'm not sure if these have been mentioned or not, but we've got people like Unilever, AstraZeneca, GSK, Vodafone. The Ford car plant at Craiova uses engines from Dagenham. We know that Dacia also use various parts from the UK. And also there's an awful lot of tech here. The city of Cluj is full of tech companies, British ones as well. We also have large investment funds active here, people like Franklin Templeton, if you come across them. And a little known fact I tend to find is that the largest onshore wind farm in Europe is actually here, down near Constanța, and it's owned by the Macquarie Fund, which, although Australia with the headquarters, runs all their operations out of London. London Stock Exchange, for example, also is here. They have one of their 2 overseas offices out here. So we have a perfect link into IT and tech and linking up with the Bucharest Stock Exchange. The contacts are here. What we find is, up until now, there hasn't really been enough knowledge about what Romania offers in the UK. So it's great that you at Thames Valley are setting up this operation, and obviously Bogdan and his team are doing things from London. But if we can focus this interest and see people coming through you in Thames Valley as the way to Romania, then I'm sure we should see a lot more interest of what goes on. Whenever anybody's out this way, feel free to get in touch with us. As I say, I don't work in the trade team as such, but they sit just around the corner from me in the embassy here in central Bucharest. We can very easily link you up, and there are 12 members of the trade team, each focusing on separate parts of the economy. So we've got no shortage of people and no shortage of contacts to help people find what they want to do. I'm just trying to think. Bogdan said, what's it like? Well, obviously Bogdan knows what it's like living here. I've been here since August 2020. COVID has restricted traveling a little, but we find at the moment, right for the time being at least, it's things are easing up quite a lot. There are no restrictions to get here anymore. You can just fly, and there are so many flights out here to all over the country as well. You don't have to fly to Bucharest and then travel internally. You can fly to Cluj, you can fly to Timișoara, you can fly to the towns in the north. We found people coming out who are working on the Ukraine refugee situation. They can fly straight to places like Suceava in the north and do their work there on the spot. So there's no shortage of flights, and it's also ridiculously cheap. We've got you've got Ryanair, you've got Wizz Air, you've got Blue Air, and you've got Tarom, and British Airways fly once or twice, maybe more than that, but they're more expensive. But it is very, very easy to get here, and the airport is so smooth here in Bucharest.
Yes.
Is that a useful overview, Malin, or is there something I've missed?
It is. I would like to say something. We are not only in Thames Valley with this project, because as part of British Chambers of Commerce, we started this project to help not only the Thames Valley Chamber, Thames Valley region companies. We are trying to do this nationally, and our colleagues in other chambers of commerce have an issue with somebody looking for something for Romania, we'll be here to help them. And
by all means.
You said that it's lovely to live there. Colin Lovering, he's the chairman of the British Romanian Chamber of Commerce, and I know for a fact that he lived in Romania for a long time, and he just wrote, in my experience, Romania is the safest place to live and a population very humble about the beauty of the country. So thank you very much for your nice words, Colin. Thank you very much, Chris, for your answer.
Okay.
I've got an extra questions that I have here, and it's about technology. what are the specific technologies Romania is looking for? Anna, you are working a lot with Japanese companies in technology, and you work with Dacia, Ford, and all the other big names. What
Yeah, exactly. Yes, first, the technology in Romania has a history with automotive, but now with a lot of changes around the world, I think what are looking is for EV cars. I know that Ford will start to produce in 1 year or 2 years for the trucks, electric batteries. And yeah, for us, the technology, cybersecurity, I think it will be great to have, because we have the experts here. We have the experts. We have the IT people that are specialized. So companies that are specialized in cybersecurity want to move to Romania, I think is the great place to come. And the other one, I think everything in healthcare and biotechnology will be great, because here we don't have nothing. And yeah, everything that is green energy. So this is what I'm seeing right now.
Thank you very much, Anna. Bogdan, would you like to add do you have something to add to what Anna said about the technology? Because I know that it's your passion and you have businesses in technology.
I always have something to add, obviously. So I just want to add, speaking about IT and cybersecurity, first of all, Bucharest will host the how it's called, Cybersecurity Research Center for the EU Commission, which means there will be a big concentration of companies' knowledge investments in Bucharest related to cybersecurity. And we expect to see a lot of products coming out in the next years from this center of research. And not to forget about the startup ecosystem, which is growing, which is very dynamic. It's a very heartful project for me. I'm trying to build a kind of technological bridge between UK and Romania, because I see a lot of opportunity here. For instance, last year we had more than 100 million euros investments in startup companies, in tech companies in Romania, and this is just the beginning. We already have a proven track of success. Speaking about UiPath, for instance, which is a multi-billion-dollar company right now, started from Romania. We are speaking about FinTech OS, which is a successful company, Romanian company acting in the UK now. But there are many other Romanian companies, or let's say companies founded by Romanians, which are active in London and in UK, like Proportunity or Bots of Us. They already attracted tens of millions of euros in investments. So I think this is one of the largest areas of cooperation between our countries. Considering the growing ecosystem in Romania and the funding available in the UK, there are so many opportunities, and this is something I'm working hard to build. We have a club in London. It's called Belgrave One, gathering Romanian founders from tech companies. And the main objective of this club is to build a network and connect these people between themselves and also with VCs and other investors.
Thank you, Bogdan. So
I told you I can speak for ages.
Yes, please let me know if you want to get in touch with Bogdan. You already have in the slides his contact details. The slides will be shared in a PDF format to everybody, so you can contact Bogdan about those. We have few extra questions, but unfortunately I'm aware about the time and we cannot answer all of them. I promise that we'll answer in writing and we will guide you to the relevant person to answer your questions if we cannot in my office. So thank you very much, everybody, for your presentations. I want to say a few extra words about the future events. Bogdan said about Romania Week. This will happen in the first full week of June, starting 6th of June. And we are planning to focus on different sectors, different perspectives. We will have presentations and also one-to-one meetings, clinics for interested companies to find out information or about Romania. Our next two events on 19th of May will have exporting services, the VAT implications. So exporting anywhere in the world, including European Union, what are the VAT implications? It's a very important topic from my perspective. And on 26th of May, what are the right international markets for your business? I also want to tell you about the new service that we started in April. It's called Customs Advice and Support Helpline, where you can purchase different packages, gold, silver, or bronze, which offers you a number of hours of international trade consultancy. We are a team of 18 people here at Amsterdam Chamber doing international trade, and we can help you with everything you need for customs from a customs perspective. So please check on our webpage for customs advice and support, or contact us directly, and we can help. I would like to say thank you to everybody. I learned a lot from each one of you. You have my contact details here if you have any questions or you want me to introduce you to any of the speakers today. It was very informative. I'm very happy to know you for now and to learn from you. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.